Hello, everyone, and welcome to our masterclass with Martin Wittmann. Today, our topic is about patents, certifications, and studies. So before we will start, a quick note about our translation. This webinar will be translated via Wordly. You can scan the QR code and then choose your preferred language. And for our Turkish community, we have live translation. If you click on the icon with the globe, you can choose then for Turkish translation. So now we will start and call Martin Wittmann, or our Chief Product Officer. And now he can start with his program of today. Hello, Martin.
Hello. So, finally works. Okay, so let's start immediately. So, today we have a very, very challenging topic because I had the opportunity to look at all the studies that we did, and it took forever. And I tried to basically get all the studies that actually are relevant, and then actually put it in a presentation and make not too many slides. So I hope it has the right format. So I will share my screen. Here we go. So today our topic is nice animation, patent studies and certifications. So it's a big topic and it's a lot of content, but we will get through all of it. So that's me with longer hair. And here we have the patents. So first of all, we have a patent for the MagHealy, and that's for this resonance sensor, so the physical noise source or quantum noise source, how you also could call it. And this is basically how we use or how we extract data to conduct our analysis. And the second patent that we have is also quite interesting, and that's for the Healy, because as you know, microcurrent treatment is a very sensitive treatment in regards to electrical safety. So it should, of course, be very safe and very secure, and you should have exactly the intensity and the right frequency and the right, let's say, current intensity. And this is secured by a nice patented technology that you actually transfer the information, what intensity you want. Then the device sends back the information to the smartphone that it actually is changed, and then you can change it again. And only this, let's say, double check enables this to not go sideways, which means, okay, you press something and then it increases, and you don't really, wanted that or didn't want that. So that is a very secure technology, and that you also should have in such a device. The other thing that is very important is, of course, our certifications. So we have Healy back then, 2017, I think we already started to apply for medical certification in all kinds of countries. And over the time, we certified Healy in more than 35 countries in the world. And of course, this was only possible because we have a highly qualified engineering team and of course, also physicians and testing personnel. And it's also, of course, grounded in scientific research. So only if you have all those elements in a very high quality, you are able to actually produce a medical product, develop a medical product, sell a medical product, and do all kinds of certifications around the world. And we underwent basically all the tests that are required. So we have the electrical safety tests, the electromagnetic safety tests, all those tests on the highest basics. And that is, for example, the 6T601, which is the electrical safety for medical devices. And this is a very rigorous test that covers everything that is somehow related to safety. Then we did something that is required also if you are certified as a medical product producer and you basically are selling medical products, then you should have data about the actual usage in the field. So meaning when you have end customers that buy the product, you need to perform a study under real world conditions. So how the customer basically uses the product and see if it actually works. And this is called PMCF, so post-market clinical follow-up. And we performed this with the medical edition. And then we asked the people if the following conditions got better. So get better. Chronic back pain, pain of the musculoskeletal system, fibromyalgia, migraine, support for depression, and anxiety-related sleep disorders. So what were the results? As you can see on the right side, if it goes up, it's always good. So it improved over the 100 and more than 150 days. It improved constantly. And what we did check, of course, was the health-related quality of life, so the SF36. So these are basically standardized questionnaires that you actually use to check the validity of your results or the effect on the patient in this case. And of course also the mental illness assessment, the PHQ-9 and the GAD-7, so assessment of anxiety and the sleep quality. And the applications that we used were 1 or 2 applications per day. And here we see the coherence D, which is the effect size. And the effect size is always quite interesting because it actually tells you how effective the treatment was, how effective the result is, how good the result is. And as you can see here, they are all at least medium large effect. Then we have also 2 for anxiety, depression, and associated sleep disorders, and fibromyalgia, also a very large effect. So this is really, really good results. So we have an external company that also supports us in all the medical certification and all the studies that we do. And they said, okay, this study actually is a real good result. And here we have the other studies that we did. So this is on the wellness side, basically, for well-being, vitality. And here we have the power of 3. And the study was about stress reduction during COVID pandemic. So we had 280 participants in Group A and 210 in Group B. And it was a 21-day study. And what we saw is that the stress got much better, the well-being, and the concerns. So you basically tell us in one questionnaire, you tell in the beginning of the study which concerns you have, which issues that are currently bothering you. And then after the study, you're basically telling again how much they improved. And what we found out that we have, of course, a significant reduction in the stress. that was induced by COVID-19 back then. And the program of power of 3 also showed a statistically significant higher effect than the normal programs, because we also, the control group was basically people that used the Healy in a normal way as they usually do. So whatever program they do, they continue doing those or using those. Then we have the Healy HighWave active attention. So this is now a HighWave study, and we use the active attention program. And this is a placebo-controlled study. So we had one group that actually used the real program and one group that used a placebo program where there was basically no output at all. And we saw that in the real application, the well-being got better, the concerns got better, the sense of coherence and the visual sequence test, they were also performing better. So actually, both of them were significantly improving, so the normal program and the placebo program. But the increase basically was in all parameters higher in the active group. So when you had a real program, and for well-being, it was also statistically significant, which is the most important thing, because if it's statistically significant, you actually have a difference between placebo and the real application. Then we had the Healy HighWave stress reduction study, and there we had again a placebo-controlled study because we used again a program that has no output. And as you can see here, that again, in both in the sham group and in the normal group, there were all of those parameters were significantly improving. Yeah, for all parameters, improvements of self-assessed parameter were higher in the inactive group with no statistical significance. But for cortisol, because we actually had a cortisol measurement, only in the active group a statistically significant improvement, so decrease in cortisol, so less stress basically, could be detected. So whereas the cortisol level in the inactive group showed only mild increase. This means that we did a physical measurement. So we sent the participants a test for cortisol. They used the test and sent it to the lab, and the lab basically analyzed how the cortisol level of the participants was. And it was statistically significant for the active group. Then we had the results of the holistic HealAdvisor studies. First, we did one study in July, so exactly 1 year ago, with the sleep app. And we basically used the sleep app and told them, okay, use the app for, I think, 4 weeks exactly. And it was with 196 participants. And what we saw, the overall well-being increased 62%, the morning freshness 47%, the sleep satisfaction 44%, and the sleep continuity 40%, which is really, really nice. Then we did a second study later. So we finished with the first study, then we did a second study, and we used only the frequency programs. And in this case, again, with placebo. So we used normal programs and placebo programs, which means that the placebo programs, you had no real output. And we again did a 4-week study in the US in this case with 106 participants. And as you can see here, the morning freshness was much higher in the active group. Same for the feeling energetic, the daily activities, the restoration by sleep, and the well-being. So all parameters were significant. So even if you just use the IMF programs, it gives you a big increase. in your basically sleep parameters. And you use the other things that we have in the app additionally, of course, even better. Then we did a nice MagHealy study with weight harmony program. And what we basically found out, and this was again, in the control group, they simply used normal Healy programs. And in both study groups, all parameters showed a significant improvement in the course of the study, which is nice, of course. But for all parameters but concerned, the pre-post difference is higher in the active group. So that's also nice. So almost all parameters were better in the active group. And statistically significant group differences could be found for well-being and all parameters directly related to eating habits. So satisfaction with nutrition behavior, satisfaction with body weight, intuitive eating scale, and decrease in sweet snacking. So this is really, really nice. So if you want to balance your weight, just use this program. Then we had again, very nice study, and that was the night harmony study. And here again, we used a placebo program. So one program that has normal output and one program that had no real output. And as we saw in both groups, all parameters showed significant improvement again. So a good placebo effect also. But for parameters falling asleep, the prednisone is higher in the active group than in the control group. So almost all parameters were better in the active group. And a statistically significant group difference could be found in increase in well-being and satisfaction with sleep and recovery and reduction in daytime tiredness. So 4 parameters that we asked were also statistically significant, which means the active program is much better than the placebo. It was also a very good result. We also published this, many studies here, and that's it. That's already it. I was much faster than I thought. Yeah, thank you for the participation, and back to Celestina.
Thank you, Martin. We have no questions in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for participating, and we will see us next month in August. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.